Every now and again, I need some help when it comes to Michael Holley. And I thought that take was quite disrespectful to the Memphis Grizzlies. So I've enlisted the help of Kelcey Wright Johnson. She hosts the Just Grizzlies podcast from Grind City Media. She's a Grizzlies host and reporter, knows that team inside out. I figured who better to help talk some sense into Michael Holley just handing the Western Conference championship to the Phoenix Suns. So first of all, Kelcey, big fans, welcome to the show. This is your brother from another debut. Would you please talk some sense into my brother Michael Holley as it relates to why the Grizzlies should not be so easily dismissed as contenders, as favorites in the Western Conference?
I guess my one question to answer your question would be, did you not see the Grizzlies play the Suns this season?
Yes, I saw him. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. Look, look. I have Michael. Don't let Michael take you down this road. We love the Memphis Grizzlies on this show. We've had Desmond Bane on the show. We always talk about the Grizzlies, not just the obvious Ja Morant. We go deep. We go deep on the roster. We're big fans of Grind City, the history of basketball in Memphis. But I just think in a series, Kelcey, in a 7-game series, I think it's competitive. But I think Phoenix has too much for Memphis. I think it's a really tough matchup for most teams in the league because they usually have just one more level than other teams have.
And I get that. Like, obviously their record is the best in the league for a reason. The Grizzlies played them 3 times. The latest 2 times the Grizzlies won. And the last game that they played them, they won without 4 of their 5 starters and another one of their point guards. They didn't have a point guard playing them. They still came out on top. And the Suns wanted that game because they had a little celebration planned because they were going to break the franchise record in wins with that win. They wanted that win. And they couldn't get it done. I mean, when you look at the Grizzlies, they broke 11, 12, I think maybe 13, if not, if you're breaking and tying franchise records this year. The Suns, yes, they're a difficult matchup for anyone, but if it's going to be anyone, it's the Grizzlies, and they've shown that time and time and again. Like, you're looking at maybe Chris Paul, right? Chris Paul is kind of the leader in terms of running the point guard, being that quarterback. I think Ja, although he's young, matches up well. I think Dylan Brooks is an absolute beast when it comes to the defensive end. And Steven Adams is, I feel like, one of the most underrated bigs in the league. And then look at you guys. You talk about Desmond Bane. Desmond Bane is one of the best shooters, at least young shooters, in the league right now. And when he gets hot, it's a hard matchup for anyone. You're talking about a hard matchup for the Suns. The Grizzlies are the hard matchup, I think, for the Suns.
Well, speaking of matchups,
if you got,
sorry.
Wait, hold on now. Wait. Let's park right there. Keep the car running. So in a series, you would say if they meet in the conference finals, you think the edge? I know they played them really well this year. You think the edge goes to Memphis if they're playing in the Western Conference Finals for the right to go to the NBA Finals?
I think that the Vegas odds would not see it that way because the Suns have had such a good season. But if you look at the actual matchups between these 2 teams and you look at how they've actually played each other and the personnel from 1 to 5 or 1 to 8, I guess, when you get into the playoffs, I think the Grizzlies have a better shot at getting past the Suns than anyone else in the Western Conference.
But before they get there, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves because they got business to handle in the meantime. They had a couple of series to win first, starting with the 7th seed. And that'll be either the Clippers or the Timberwolves after tonight's first play-in game in the Western Conference. Obviously, you would probably pick the Grizzlies in either one of those matchups, but between those 2 teams, the Timberwolves or the Clippers, I know I would probably say the Clippers, but you've seen them play this season, and you know how they match up, Kelcey. Which team has the opportunity to give the Grizzlies more trouble in that 2-7 matchup?
I am with you. I would rather play the Clippers. Again, you look at just how these 2 teams match up personnel-wise. The Grizzlies swept the Clippers with 4 wins this season. They split with Minnesota, and I'm more scared of Minnesota. Obviously, Cat. I'm low-key have some kind of PTSD with Pat Bev last year in the playoffs. I don't want that happening to the Grizzlies. So I would I'd way rather play the Clippers, especially if, we don't know if there's a timeline with Kawhi, but they haven't said anything. I would take PG over Cat. D'Angelo Russell also comes into Memphis and just shoots like he's Steph Curry. I don't know if you've ever noticed that. don't love that about him.
Yeah. What for people who don't see the Grizzlies night in and night out the way you have, you know, there's depth and there's the ability to withstand the loss of your best player. That's holding down the fort, right? But the Grizzlies aren't just good, they're dominant. You just referenced that win against the Suns. They're dominant without Ja Morant. Like, best team in the league statistically when Ja Morant doesn't play. What is it about their depth and their chemistry and their cohesion that allows them to be so successful without one of the best players in the NBA?
I think it starts with, it's like a super cheesy thing to say, but like they legitimately like each other off the court. And we've heard from guys like Solomon Hill or Jay Crowder who were traded off say that it's like it is different. And Steven Adams has talked about it a lot this year too. Like he's coming onto a team where like they actually hang out with each other outside of the court. But I think a lot of that is going to have to go to Tyus Jones, another such underrated guy. You've heard some media members say that he's, you know, probably the best backup point guard, but he set an NBA, like in history, an NBA record with assist to turnover ratio this year. And so I think you have such a luxury when Ja is out to have someone come in that backup point guard position who not only has experience, but is just so solid. Like a lot of the time, say Tyus wasn't on the court, you would have Ja out and Zaire, maybe a rookie, maybe D'Anthony Melton, maybe Kyle Anderson. They're just not ready to lead a team in that point guard position. Tyus is the absolute perfect backup point guard. And I think the system that they run, it's just so ingrained with them. And even in practices, like you have Tyus playing with the starter sometimes, even when Ja is in. And so I think they build that chemistry from day one in the season, knowing that, hey, even if we want to rest Ja, even if, you know, he's not injured and you need to rest him, we need to have someone to come in and still be able to man that. And Tyus Jones has taken that on like just perfectly. He needs so many more flowers. I wish I could give him a whole garden or something.
You know, Kelcey, we've all talked about Ja. We talked about Ja even before he got to the league. You know, a couple of great tournament games at Murray, and then he gets to the league, and, you know, that speaks for itself. I'm wondering, this year, the attention has gone up a level. What have you thought of the attention? What stands out to you about, I guess, the world focusing on Memphis, and then being there up close, the way Ja has handled this elevation in the superstardom, at least from a description standpoint?
I mean, I think Ja he has not changed. And that's one thing that I think Memphis loves about him, is that he has, one, embraced the city so well, and two, he's the same guy he was when he came in for his, you know, like whatever they call it when they come in and they like just got drafted, like when he came in and introduced himself to the Grizzlies. And I think that's really cool of him. And you don't see that a lot. Like we've seen, I am positive, and this is no hate towards LeBron, I'm positive that LeBron has changed, you know, since day one in the NBA to right now. And I'm not saying Ja is at that level yet, but I think that's something, like he will stop and sign signatures. He gives away his shoes. He is still like, he's just so Memphis that it's cool to have a national kind of spotlight put onto Memphis. And it's even cooler, I think, for the city to have him really embrace the city itself, which hasn't gotten a lot. Like, it's a small market. I mean, people would argue that it's not, you know, the best city in the league in terms of you don't want to come have vacation here, but Ja has embraced it so much. And I think that just bleeds into the rest of the team. Like they love each other and they love this city, and the fans just love them right back.
The only person we haven't picked your brain about, or, you know, in terms of the leadership, is Taylor Jenkins. And I mean, there's obviously no shortage of qualified, worthy Coach of the Year candidates. Mm-hmm. Again, seeing this team day in and day out, what's the case for Taylor Jenkins aside from the record overall and the record without Ja Morant and all the statistical superlatives we just, you know, have laid out throughout this conversation? What is it that Taylor Jenkins has done this year, the buttons that he's pushed in particular, to have this team flourish in the way it is?
I mean, I wish that I knew what he did, because I would bottle it up and sell it for millions. But I think when you say, like, other than these things, he's led one of the absolute youngest teams. Even when you look at like the Vegas odds before the season, they were still projected to be in that play-in tournament for the third consecutive year. And he brought one of the youngest teams, second youngest team, to second record overall in the NBA, not just in the West. And so he's got these guys doing exactly what he wants them to do. And the guys are just so locked in. Like, I wish you could come with me and see them at practice. Like, he's dancing and he's with them and he's just so great with them. And to be able to have that chemistry in his third year with these guys and be able to go from, I guess year one was play in, didn't make it. Year two is play in, made it. Year three now to be second in the entire NBA and really be a contender in the Western Conference. I think me personally, I look at Coach of the Year and I'm like, what did the coach do? Like who surpassed expectations? And so obviously Monty is someone who he is a Coach of the Year candidate as well. Very well deserved. I would say the Suns didn't exceed expectations this year. You know, like they went to the finals last year. They should be good. They didn't make a lot of huge changes. They got Torrey Craig back. Okay. And then Taylor, this team was not supposed to be this good. And Taylor has led this team to where they are right now. And I think in terms of exceeding those expectations, who else has done quite what Taylor Jenkins has been able to do?
Yeah. Hey, last question we got for you. I know you are the pride of Toronto. So your Eastern Conference allegiance lies with the Raptors. So why will it be? We know the Grizzlies are coming out of the West. We've established that throughout this conversation. Why are your Raptors coming out of the East?
Do you think they'll take my citizenship away from me if I say I don't think they are?
I mean, that would disappoint me a little bit, but no, you'll be fine. You'll still be welcome. You still be welcome back. I would just be surprised. I mean, they're hot. I think it'd be an upset if the Sixers beat the Raptors, especially without Matisse Thybulle in the first round. I mean, I think the Raptors got a real shot to shock people in the Eastern Conference, the way they've been playing.
All right, hear me out. I don't think they're losing to the Sixers, especially with Matisse Thybulle out. I don't think they're losing to the Sixers, but I don't think they're winning the Eastern Conference. And I hate that. I hope, Fred is not watching. I hope Chris is not watching. I'm so sorry, you guys. I want you to go far, but I wouldn't put my money on it.
Okay.
Wait, who do you guys have? Who do you guys have coming to the East?
I think the easy call is Milwaukee, for obvious reasons.
That's easy call and the right call. Probably the right call.
Okay, maybe it is, but I mean, okay, even just in terms of their path, I think they beat Philadelphia. Not easily, but I think they beat Philly. I like their chances against Miami. Miami has some of the same issues in the half court as Toronto has. I think they could beat the Heat. And now you're in the conference finals. We'll see.
You think so the thing about the Heat, at least to me, is that they are all dogs. Like Jimmy's a dog, Kyle's a dog, Bam's a dog, Tyler
Y'all got dogs.
dog.
Y'all got dogs in Toronto too now.
Defensively,
you know that.
Who's the defensive stopper? Pascal?
Oh, man, I can't believe you're just like. I mean, the way they force turnovers, man. I can't believe that you're just like. Yeah, or are you just not letting yourself get your hopes up?
That's right.
Is that what it, like, you don't,
because
you got, come on. I have a hard time believing you have not envisioned a Grizzlies Raptors NBA Finals where you're going home for Kelcey Wright Johnson.
Yeah.
I have been asked a million times. Like, who would you cheer for? I'm like, the Grizzlies, relax.
You would.
But you really,
Smart.
But you can't go wrong because it's like it's really all Canada. If you really think about it, it's an all Canada NBA Finals because the Vancouver.
That's one way to look at it.
Vancouver was a great. Nothing against Memphis, but Vancouver, that was a great place to visit. Kelcey, when the Grizzlies were there back in the day, nice city.
Well,
anyway, I hope it comes to that.
If you didn't already believe in the Memphis Grizzlies, you certainly do now after listening to Kelcey Wright Johnson, host of the Just Grizzlies podcast. We appreciate you, and I think we're going to have reason to welcome you back. We certainly would like to have you back because I feel like the Grizzlies are going to be around for a while in these playoffs. So please come back and drop some more knowledge.
Kelcey, you got to come back right before the Western Conference Finals. Grizzlies Suns. Get ready.
She's like, no problem. Light work, huh? Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.